What's up, YouTube? I'm here to do my recap for UFC Fight Night, Mendes versus Lamas. Let's start at the bottom. First fight was Ron Sterling versus Justin Jones. To me, this fight was the definition of a coin flip, you know. I thought every single round was actually really close. I thought every single round could have went either way. You know, Ron Sterling's hurt Justin Jones really early with a body kick, but wasn't able to finish him. And then, you know, a lot of it was just, what did you give it to? Did you give it to Ron Sterling for stopping takedowns and ending decent strikes on the outside, or did you give it to Justin Jones for controlling Ron Sterling as he got up against the fence? I thought Justin won, but I could easily see Ron winning it, so nothing too surprising there. Next was Timothy Johnson versus Shamal Armagov, and I thought this fight got stopped super early, especially if you watch some of the fights later on this card, where guys were in similar positions. Timothy Johnson was mounting Shamal and was landing decent ground and pound, and the guy told Shamal to fight back, and he was moving and stuff. And like later in this fight card, Juliana Pena did the same thing to the chick, but she was doing it for like 2 or 3 minutes straight. This guy was only on top for like 20 seconds, and they stopped it after like 15. So it was a good win for Timothy. I just thought the stoppage was too early, but whatever. Next was Alexander Yokolov versus Gray Maynard, and you know, I didn't think it was as one-sided as the judges thought. I think they all gave it 30-27. I thought Gray won the first round, and then Yokolov won the second and the third. It wasn't super exciting. They both kind of slowed down the same amount as the fight went on. I don't think Alexander's great. I don't think he's going to last much longer. I just think this shows that, like I said in my prediction video, I just think this shows that Gray is not at that level anymore and he needs to retire. Next, this was one of the big things I want to talk about. I don't mind if I get a decision wrong, you know, but I hate it when I pick a fight and I clearly got it right. And that's what this was. Liz Carmouche versus Lauren Murphy was a horrible decision. And the only round that was close was the third, and even that round you can argue Lauren Murphy won. But the first 2 rounds were so clearly Lauren Murphy winning. You know, Liz Carmouche didn't land. I think the first round they both landed about the same amount, but Liz Carmouche was running away the whole time. Lauren Murphy was pushing against the fence, and at the end of the round she got a takedown. The second round was basically the exact same thing, except for Lauren Murphy was on top longer when she got the takedown. The third round, they were both kind of trading top position. They were both kind of shooting for takedowns, getting up, getting takedowns. So the third round I thought could have went either way, but the first 2 rounds, clearly Lauren Murphy won in my opinion. So, horrible decision. Liz Carmouche, like I said before, I don't think she's that good, and now, you know what I mean, it fucking irritates me, I won't lie. That's the thing that bothers me more than anything, is horrible decisions. Next we got Dustin Poirier versus Carlos Diego Ferreira, and it's just one of those things. Dustin's much better than Carlos is. I thought this was a, you know, not a mismatch, but just a higher level guy fighting a lower level guy way too soon. And it showed, you know, Dustin's just more polished at everything. That's why he got the first round knockout. So, good knockout win for Dustin, but, you know, like I said, I think Carlos is good. He just needs to fight guys that are more his level right now. Next was Clay Guida versus Robbie Peralta. And it's basically, I thought, you know, Clay is faster and a much better grappler. I thought he would submit Robbie, but obviously Robbie's working hard on everything. So, I still like Robbie Peralta. I hope he still fights more because he's a fun knockout artist, but you know, I think this was just a bad matchup stylistically for him. Good win for Clay. Clay is one of my top 10 favorite guys. I love watching Clay fight, you know what I mean? I don't care who he fights next, I just love watching that dude fight. Next is Juliana Pena versus Milan Duva. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. The Timothy Johnson fight versus Shamal Armagov. That Timothy was just on top for like 20-25 seconds, and Armagov was doing the exact same thing that Mila Duva was, but Mila Duva, you know, like for 2 or 3 minutes was just getting ground pound from the mount, but she was covering up. And you know what I mean, the fight didn't end until the last minute of the round, and I was like, why does this fight get to go on? You know what I mean, it was just bullshit that the Timothy Johnson fight got stopped when the guy wasn't really getting hurt. He was just getting hit with punches and the round was almost over, so the guy stops it. And this fight, that's how long it should go on for. If you're not getting hurt by punches and you're just getting hit like that, they should let it go on for at least a minute or 2 to see if they can try to get out, not 20 seconds or 25, whatever the hell it was. I'm not, the Pena fight was great. That's how long the person should have to try to escape. A minute or two, not 20 seconds. The fight I'm getting mad about is the Timothy Johnson fight. So, good win for Pena. Really dominant, like I thought. Next was Michael Chiesa versus Mitch Clark, and I thought this fight would be dominant for Michael Chiesa just because he's the much better wrestler, and it showed. He's able to get takedowns pretty much at will, and Mitch Clark, I don't think he ever took Chiesa down once. And I thought Chiesa just had more power. I think their striking's pretty much even, but Chiesa's just, when he was really hitting Mitch, you could tell he was doing more damage. So, solid win for Chiesa. Next was Al Iaquinta versus Jorge Masvidal, and this is the second big thing, is that fight was an ass whooping. I mean, Al Iaquinta landed, 0 of 11 takedowns? I don't know if anybody takes record of that shit anymore, but it's crap, There's no other word for it. It's just crap, and it bothers me. It bothers me so much when I see shit like that. Oh my god, it's giving me a headache. It's not even funny. How can a guy go 0 for 11 on takedowns? And their striking was pretty even, but Al Iaquinta's face was all fucked up, and he got dropped. It's just little things like that bother me so much when guys like that win, because they're shittier. He's shittier than Jorge Masvidal. There's no nice way of saying. You can say he's not as good, but when it's a bad decision, it's hard for me to not be nice about it. He's shittier than Jorge Masvidal. That's all there is to it. Jorge Masvidal is better than Al Iaquinta. I'm sorry for ranting, but it's just one of those things. Now Jorge Masvidal, the guy who should be moving up, he should be like number 11 now, fighting top 10 guys, because he's good, is now probably getting knocked out of the top 15 because journalists rank these guys, When you see those rankings, for those that don't know, the journalists rank them, not anybody else. So Jorge Masvidal is out of the top 15 because he lost. Al Iaquinta is going to move up to number 11, and he lost that fight. He sucks. I'm sorry, he doesn't suck, but He's shittier than Masvidal. That's the best way I can put it. Masvidal's better than him. Masvidal should be fighting top 10 guys now, but stupid shit like this happens. And then main event, Chad Mendes versus Ricardo Lamas. Ricardo Lamas looked good the first minute and a half. He was really using his range and his kicks to keep the shorter guy and Chad Mendes out. But then Chad eventually kind of started to get his distance and then exploded in with that overhand right. And Ricardo was pretty much done when that hit. You saw the way his legs gave out and how he basically folded in half. He just wasn't unconscious. He was able to move around, but as soon as he stood up, he really couldn't stand up. And it was just one of those things where Chad didn't want to hurt him, and you could see that Chad didn't really want to hurt him. And Ricardo was really just fighting with the upper half of his body, because the lower half of his body looked like it was just, gone. Overall, the fight card I thought was pretty good. There's two decisions that really pissed me off, and that was the Liz Carmouche beating Lauren Murphy, which she clearly lost, and Al Iaquinta in the Jorge Masvidal fight, which bothered me even more, just because to me, that fight was 10 times worse than the Liz Carmouche fight. But they're still horrible. I'm not saying the Liz Carmouche fight wasn't horrible. That fight was, Lauren Murphy clearly won that one, and so did Jorge Masvidal. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. I'm going to do my prediction video pretty soon for Gonzaga versus Cro Cop 2. Please like and subscribe.